Hey, I thought I'd just do a quick update on the Honda CB400 or CM400T. It's CB. They're different names in different places, but it's basically the same bike. It's the cruiser style of the Honda Hawk. This is a 78. And last time I just yanked off a bunch of stuff, just pulled off all the turn signals, the seat, the rear fender, all the junk that we're not going to use to make this into a cafe bike. And since then, all I really did was bolt on the exhaust. The original owner, who I got it from, had all new H boxes, new exhaust clamps, new everything. So I bolted that on. I just want to make sure it runs right before I do anything. And the only other thing I really did, this was during the winter back a while ago. So I pulled the headlight, the front headlight mount, which is these silly suckers that slip over top of the forks, the front forks, and you'd have to do that in order to mount slip-ons or clip-ons. I could have mounted the Clubman style bars up here, but I don't like them. I like clip-ons much better. Get you a nice lower riding position. On this bike, I was going to do rear sets. I bought rear sets, and then I noticed that if I wanted to do rear sets, I wasn't going to be able to do stock exhaust because it's just a pain. Rear sets would have mounted here in the rear foot peg holes, and just no room to really work with anything, especially on the brake, the other side. So we're just going to go with stock foot pegs and stock exhaust. I'm just going to modify that a little bit for a better sound. But this bike is going to be this is a pretty simple job to do one of these. The hardest thing is going to be the seat pan. That's like the only real tough thing on this. As long as you don't consider painting tough, because painting's not hard. I'm going to use the original headlight bucket just with a different mount. And no, I rebuilt the front brake caliper, but I did that and somehow deleted the files because I pulled that apart while I was rebuilding it, and I deleted the video on it. So I will videotape putting it back together, because it's taken apart is just the opposite of putting it together. Anyway, that's about it. I'll make another video when it's running. I did check. It wasn't running when I bought it. It had, that's why I bought it for so cheap. It had compression. I checked compression on the. If you are going to buy a bike, I've had a few questions on this. If you're going to buy a bike for a project, obviously if it's not running, you're going to get a much better deal. But not running is kind of scary, because if it's not running and you don't know anything really about motorcycles, you could be just buying a basket case. But I checked compression. I cranked the engine over and over and over with the starter to make sure, because the carbs weren't even on when I got it. Make sure there's no sounds. You could still, you're still taking a risk on a non-running bike, but you are going to get it for $300-400 as opposed to $1,000 or $800. I don't know what it's like in other places in the world, but in Canada, any bike that's running, even some old, crappy, beat up, bent up, they're $1,000. If you want get half price of that, you're looking at buying someone else's project or something that isn't running at the moment. So it's always a bit of a risk. But anyway, the carbs were rebuilt. I just went through them. I'm going to put everything back together, and I'll shoot a running first startup video on this in a few minutes, in a little while anyway, sometime tonight. But you'll get to hear it running when I do. Fingers crossed. Thanks for watching.